Our time here on Morning Express, where we discuss the political point. Every Tuesday we do have that segment, and joining me in studio just discuss some of the issues in our political scene in the country. To my immediate left is Kaikai Kisinja, and next to him is Kevin Osido. Thank you very much for making time. So I'll just start with the story that just aired. Sonko and Igathe issues continue. Here we are seeing, yesterday the governor said he has technocrats. You know, he can be able to manage the city. What are your thoughts on this? I'll start with you, Kaikai.
I think we need to put this into perspective in terms of why are we finding ourselves where we are, in terms of the deputy governor and the governor not agreeing to work together, and yet this was a ticket that the two of them came out in the public and campaigned in their manifesto, and Nairobians, or people in Nairobi County, gave them the nod to lead for the next 5 years. And so when you ask yourself the perspective, you realize one thing that very clear is that we have a problem with the law.
Yes.
The law is the first problem we are dealing with here, because the law is clear in terms of the roles of the governor and spells out exactly what the governor is supposed to achieve in 5 years. The law then appoints or says that the deputy governor will act or will assist the governor in running the functions of the county government, but then doesn't give specific roles for the governor. So one of the challenges we have is the operation of the law. What does the law stipulate? The second challenge we have is individuals, or the personality of people. When you are going for a position of governor, you then notice that one of the biggest challenges is to have your deputy who will then do what you have to do when that deputy doesn't have specific functions to carry. So therefore, is a personality challenge that we are having. So to put that into perspective is the challenges that we have in law. But remember that the law probably did that because of the fact that you cannot have two centers of power. You can only have one epicenter where power comes from. And the third challenge we have is the two individuals. One is coming from the private sector, and the other one is basically a politician. And when you come from the private sector and you are joining government, then you find yourself in a challenge, because in private sector you set your goals and objectives, but in government you have to follow the machinery and the systems. So I think that's where we have to say that that's the challenge we're having in terms of Nairobi County, and how we are going to be sure that the county affairs will be managed.
Yes, Kevin.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Nairobi City County is not just like any other county.
Yeah.
And we need to be very, more or less, clear in terms of what exactly we want to achieve with this kind of debate.
Okay.
What is the point we want to drive at? Because I think all is said, but not everything has been done, in the sense that, yes, the law is, as I've heard people say, is silent insofar as what needs to be done, but not that the Constitution of Kenya has lots of supportive frameworks, legislations and all that. And the County Governments Act of 2012, I think it's section 32, that then supports Article 179(5) of the Constitution, insofar as the relationship between the governor and his deputy. And I'm glad, because the Nairobi City County therefore has given us what, again, we did not foresee in the Constitution, in the sense that we have seen when governors get out of their seats, like what's been happening in Nyeri, then the deputies come over. But now we have a situation where it is the deputy who has left. Okay. And it is true to say that, yes, Nairobi is different, because this is the seat of power. That's one. Number two is, what exactly is the state of service delivery? And when the governor says that he is able to deliver and is able to meet the expectations of Nairobians, what is this that he is talking about? The second thing is that the seat of the governor does not function in a vacuum. You have support systems, and you have the human resource that you need. And part of this human resource is His Excellency the Deputy Governor. Now, in terms of leadership crisis, personality questions begin to arise. And during the campaigns, you noted that people were looking at asking, who is Polycarp Igathe? And there are names that people mentioned to be fronting different people. And indeed, there are names that people mentioned to be fronting, even my friend Polycarp Igathe, and he had to leave Vivo Energy, private sector establishment, then move on into government. And Polycarp as a person is He's an honorable gentleman.
Yes.
I have sat in a few meetings with him as we do the county support mechanism on countering violent extremism in this country. We have had discussions with Polycarp, and I think he is a gentleman who is able to make independent decisions. And when it comes over to make this kind of decision, my question would have been, what happened when you accepted to be the deputy governor? And how come now when there are issues between you and the governor, then you want to bring them out there in a manner that really you did not consult the people when you are vying to be the deputy governor or within the ticket. Yeah. So for me, it's about the place of the citizenry and how we elect our leaders.
Yes.
And what is the leadership, the leadership, more or less I can call it a framework or template. Because Article 10 of the Constitution is also very clear about national values and principles. And like we had the deputy talking about inflation of costs and all that, I believe that the law is also clear around issues of corruption, how they're supposed to be dealt with. And in terms of suppliers to counties, contractors and all that, I believe that, again, our Constitution has supporting legislation that is supposed to support how we engage with those people. Yes. To what extent do we interrogate the law to be able to deal with those gaps before someone of the caliber of Polycarp arises to want to resign? And then we now begin seeing leaders running up and down to want to create dialogue between two people who can be able to make a decision. So for me, it's about service delivery. It's about the place of Nairobians in terms of how we vote. It is about addressing the gaps that we are saying that the law has therefore helped us, or rather enabled us to identify, and how we move forward, because this is 5 years. We are only talking about a few months, more or less the first quarter of the second generation of devolved governance. Yes. We have serious issues to deal with in terms of public finance management in counties. We have lots of mechanisms that are still left out. For instance, Nairobi County does not have what we call the County Budget and Economic Forum, which is supposed to bring in the citizens as part of the public finance management to support what the counties are supposed to do. So my appeal to the people who sit at the apex of Nairobi County leadership is, can we put service delivery and services that the people gave us the mandate to be able to deliver at the front of politics? Because all this, in my view, Igathe and Sonko are people who are able to deal with their issues. I am happy that the Senator Sakaja and the County Assembly Speaker Elachi, honorable members, are already picking up this to be able to present. But what picture and what lessons can other counties learn from Nairobi, and what can Kenyans learn around devolved governance on such kind of personality issues and political interests when they then are presented ahead of service delivery? All right.
Before we continue, you talked about mandate, and I think we will come to that. I want us to listen to Mike Sonko yesterday as he was making his statement yesterday.
We have to go and consult, to engage party leadership yetu, MPs, other MCS. Na in this case, ni mata si ya Jubilee peke yake. Ni mata wa Nairobi wote. Jubilee na wale wengine. Kwa hivyo tutaikalia chini. Hakuna mahali watu hawezi kuongea.
The county. Yesterday, he talked about the fact that he had technocrats, as we said. But let's not forget, during the gubernatorial debate, he did mention that Igathe is a technocrat and he will deal with such issues. So for him to come out right now and say, you know what, I have other members who can handle these issues, and yet he had stated very well that Igathe will handle some of these issues. Where does this leave him as a leader, Kaikai?
You know, one of the things that he's doing first and foremost is that he understands he's in a challenge. Yes. He's in a challenge in the sense that this is a county that requires a lot of support, either from his ministers and from his deputy. Now he's in capacity in terms that he doesn't have a deputy. Now, unlike other countries which have developed governments, for example, the US, Nigeria, where mechanisms have been put in place whereby if a deputy leaves office, then it's clear who is appointed or who comes in through various mechanisms to assist the deputy. Yes. Because this is a question whereby he understands the challenges there. But I'm glad that he's saying that he's willing to sit down and talk. Meaning, therefore, that there are efforts which have been made, and my colleague has talked about what Sakaja is doing in terms of pushing these efforts. So should those efforts yield into something, then there's a possibility that probably Igathe might want to come back. Because remember, this is a resignation. It has a timeline in terms of when he's supposed to quit office. The timelines are not over yet. And there are push in terms of having discussions to solve out this matter. So there's a possibility, therefore, that the two will have to agree and talk.
Yes.
But I think what's critical here is the fact that what is the role of a deputy or governor in terms of law? What are the functions that a deputy governor is supposed to do? These are not spelled out. These are not clear. And I think that's why the Senate is trying to push a bill to have actually these functions clearly spelled out. Because when it comes to being the CEO of a county as a governor, then you have all these powers and you only delegate some functions that you are entitled to have to your deputy. So it brings in a play whereby what is the relationship between a governor and a deputy? If you are a deputy who is going to listen or be given discussions or be given things to deliver, then you can be able to function with that governor. But at the end of the day, the responsibility squarely lies with the governor himself. So therefore, it also brings up a question where we bring the issue of interpersonal relations between the governor and the deputy governor. So I think it's a good thing that Sonko wants discussions to be made. We hope it will be done. The stakes are high. We hope, therefore, that the two will come and agree to work together. If they do not agree to work together, there's nothing wrong that stops Mike Sonko from delivering his mandate to Kenyans as a governor alone, without the support of the deputy. However, he can then rely on ministers that he has to perform the functions of the deputy in order to finish the term.
Okay, I like what you said. You know, the law does not define the functions of a deputy governor. And if, you know, it comes to where it will come to and they don't reconcile, then Mike Sonko can go on. So now my question to you is, can the country function without deputy governors?
Yes. Actually, we have seen so many counties functioning without deputies. Machakos County, for instance, for a better part of the first term of Governor Mutua's leadership, they were wrangling day and night, and many counties today, in fact, that's why I said at the beginning that Nairobi is unique. It is not like any other counties. But if you spoke to many of these governors and you visited many of these counties like we do at County Governance Watch, then you will realize that actually we are just giving too much weight to what is happening in Nairobi County. In fact, my appeal is, let's move this discussion to pushing the governor to deliver. Because the resignation of the deputy governor, in my view, has no legal consequence. The Constitution is very clear, and I'm holding one here. Article 179(5) says, when the county governor is absent, the deputy county governor shall act as the county governor. Then we need to move forward and look at what are these functions of the governor that then the deputy governor can be able to act upon to be able to execute. The second thing is, really, what is it about a deputy governor? Why must it be? But yes, it is because that is how we vote. It is the nature of our electoral framework and mechanism. But you note again that Kenya's political nomenclature is set in a manner that interests must always come up. And that is why you will see now, for instance, Kambas will begin saying, we can move on without you. Probably Mheshimiwa Igathe's people will begin saying, no, the county cannot move on before. And that's why I am very sure that the leadership of Jubilee within county, the city county of Nairobi is also keen to look at how do we push these two people to jail. Because you note that right from the campaigns, like we already said, these two gentlemen tried so hard to jail. And leadership is about the ability to drive everyone to perform certain functions to deliver a common agreed goal or objective. And the governor, therefore, needs to begin to also move to that level of ensuring that even his CECs, the County Executive Committee members, are also able to deal with their personalities. Because we all know that there are certain things that the governor has been doing that are not right. People need to begin to move from the personality functions to look at the office functions and how those contribute to the aspirations and the desires and that dream that the people of Nairobi are looking for. Because there are serious issues in this county. Lack of water, for instance. There's garbage everywhere, so sanitation issues. And this indeed moves on to the entire functioning of devolution. Because then what is the role of the county assembly? It is not to be running behind and after the governor and his deputy to come and speak. Can you be able to generate those bills? Can you be able to pass those laws that are going to support the functions of the governor so that we stop seeing all this? Because insofar as I am concerned, and I'm probably sorry to say this, these are sideshows. Okay. What are these things that are happening behind City Hall that then people cannot be able to see? Can we see what the governor has been able to do? And at County Governance Watch, we'll be releasing a report that we've done for the first generation of devolved governance. Nairobi County has been rated second best performing and top worst performing insofar as service delivery and the war against corruption. Okay. So what are these things? And the phone call like what the governor is talking about really present to us now evidence on the findings that we are looking at and we are seeing on the ground. Okay. So mine is to appeal to the leadership to deal with their personal issues and to consider service delivery to the people as important as that time that they would want to spend dealing with their personal issues. And that leadership is about everyone. Leadership is about teamwork. Leadership is about going for what you said you would do and ensuring that you deliver it.
All right. Just to add on that, I think sometimes leadership thrives in crisis. Okay. And I can see a situation whereby Mike Sonko, with or without the Deputy Igathe, will deliver. I have no doubt about that.
All right. We want to take a short break here on Morning Express. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about the breed of leaders that is cropping up. What exactly qualifies one to be a leader in Kenya? Not forgetting that I will also be having George Kipi in our very able panel. Don't go too far. Morning Express comes back with more.